welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and I have music teachers with me on today for this holiday season. We have Stacy Bright from Terrellton and Carrie Green from Larchmont. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad to have you. It's the holiday season. We're going to talk about the holiday music programs here in Norfolk Schools. But first, I want to know, how long have you all been teaching in Norfolk Public Schools, Stacy?
This is my 14th school year.
14th school year. What about you, Carrie?
This will be my 10th with NPS, but 15 in education.
Okay, Stacy, what does your job entail?
Everything.
Everything, right? You both are going to answer this question.
Oh, yes.
Well, I teach K through 4 general music, 5th grade chorus, and 5th grade strings, and a little bit of mentoring on the side as well.
Oh, that's great.
You are a busy lady. Oh, my
Yes, she
goodness.
is. Probably as busy as you, Carrie.
Oh, gosh, busier, I think. I teach K through 5, 5th grade chorus, general music for K through 4. But I also do poetry club and am the rhythm project liaison at my school. So we have rehearsals twice a week, every week until May. So quite a busy schedule, but it's all filled with music.
So it's not just school hours that you're working.
Oh, no.
After hours. Yes,
Oh,
some of us
definitely.
parents have a 5th graders. I'm ready for their performances. So when do you typically start rehearsing for the holidays, and do those rehearsals differ from rehearsals from the rest of the school year?
Well, I start in October because I only get to see K through 4 once a week for 45 minutes, and I still like to make sure I have instruction in my lesson as well. So rehearsals occur during music class, and then as far as putting the whole show together, I might do one with everybody and then a dress rehearsal where the school can come see it, and then we have the big performance. So I guess maybe like 2 real rehearsals, but everything else is during music class.
Yeah, mine's very similar too. I'll usually start program prep 7 weeks out, and everything at the beginning of that is instruction during class time. So your songs or my songs are just wrapped around the regular lesson, but then the final 2 to 3 rehearsals involve logistics planning, getting the kids in heights and getting their place marks ready for the performance. And then we'll have 1 dress rehearsal, but it's without the student body. It's just every performing class, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, you mentioned music classes where you would do the practice, but what does it really take to prepare these students to perform?
Patience.
Laughter.
Yes, lots of laughter.
Creativity.
Just making sure the children are having fun, because if they're
Yes.
invested in the process, not necessarily the product, they have to enjoy the act of trying to perfect something. So by the time they get to the show, they're in it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not perfect, they're smiling and they're happy, and that's all
they
we
go
want.
home and talk about it, and they beg their parents to come out, and that's what you want.
And we're in the audience with cameras,
Yes.
videoing everything and taking pictures, and we're happy. We don't care if they mess up or not. We're just happy to see them perform.
Yes.
So you guys are smiling. So I know it takes a lot of patience to do that. So what types of music are students learning or practicing or to perform?
Oh gosh, everything.
I
And it
know,
changes, right?
Yeah, every genre you can think of.
gosh.
I like to put a little bit of everything.
Sprinkle.
in there.
Yeah. I've got disco.
Me too.
Oh yay! Yeah,
So you do disco throughout the year, but even it could cross over to Christmas
It crosses over. I got Disco Santa coming up. Yeah, you too. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what disco Santa song are y'all playing?
It's called
Mine is by the Village People.
No, not that one. It's whatever was on our iPod. We'll have to check notes. We'll have to check notes. But
iPod.
multi-genre, so classical. I mean, my chorus is singing Dona Nobis Pacem, and then they're doing Winter Wonderland. So your standard holiday pop tunes.
I like to make sure I fit in something from each celebration, like your secular Christmas as far as Santa Claus, and then, religious Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Las Posadas. I like to make sure everybody gets a feel of whatever it is that they celebrate in the program as well.
How do the kids feel about that?
Elementary kids love
They
to
love
learn
it.
about other people,
Yeah.
and other things that they don't know about. They think it's cool,
They
especially
just like music. My daughter loves it.
I've never had any child tell me they didn't enjoy the song.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I give them a choice. When we'll back it up 7 weeks out or even 8 weeks out, I'll use one song that I'm thinking about as the entering music and another song for the exiting music, and then the following class I'll say, what was your favorite? And that will become,
because that was one of my
program.
questions, how do you choose music for a concert or a performance for the different grade levels?
A lot of my resources are taken from a magazine called Music K8 that's specifically published for music teachers, as well as the music series that's offered through Norfolk Public Schools, and other music teachers as well. They give plenty of ideas, and lots of times you'll even have parents or teachers come up to you and be like, man, it would be awesome if you could do such and such song. And the radio station that plays Christmas music starting in November. I mean, I know that I plan my programs in October, but when I hear the music in November, I can write it down and put it in my program next year if it's something that I might want to try.
Right. So what do you do, Carrie?
You said it all, Stacey.
I know, right?
By backing it up, I sometimes will allow my students to choose. We'll prep in October, but I'll use one song I'm considering to showcase the children's strengths. I'll place it as an entering music, and then the other choice possibility will be the exiting music. In the following class, I'll ask the children, which did you prefer? What got you going? What would you think your parents would like best?
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'll give them a say in the programming. Sometimes it makes for some wild holiday themes when we actually do the program, the handouts. But when the children are invested,
how do they feel about having their selections picked and actually performing those?
Oh, they're so excited. Sometimes the children, like this year, it's not just song selections. I reserved a space at the end of every song, because they're quite short, for a movement piece, and the children made up their movements. So we've got singing, we've got movement, we have time for individual showcasing. And my third graders they created an ORF piece with xylophones and metallophones. So they are showcasing something they've created. So they're invested and so thrilled. They're so excited to have it.
Well, you both have shown so much enthusiasm and excitement. So, I want to ask you, what do you enjoy most about teaching music to our students? Stacey?
I honestly just like to just spread the joy of music, and I also like to see them progress. Like, I went to Norview High School's last orchestra concert at the end of last school year, and I had so many students that were still performing.
Wow.
It's like, and they all came up to me like, "That's right, I started in 5th grade in strings class." You know what I mean? It's amazing because we're elementary teachers, we teach the whole school, and when you see so many of them continue on through middle school and high school and into college or Air Force bands or wherever they end up playing, like, you feel like you had a part in that, and when they come back and tell you that you did, it feels awesome. But that's my
powerful.
favorite part, is seeing them progress.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you,
love that. Just watching them grow to love music even more than they do when they come to you as kinder babies, or sometimes I'll see my little pre-K babies. There's one thing in particular, so I will sometimes write songs for my 5th graders, because at that point I've had many of them since kindergarten and I know them very well. We'll perform many of those songs during our programs, either the holiday program or in spring, but when they get that piece of music in their hand and they see that I have written words for them, it's poetry for them, and I as a composer get to hear the songs from those children's mouths, for me that's magical. And they'll carry that with them. They'll have a piece of music specifically inspired by them, for them, and no one can take that away from them. And that for me is, yeah, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God.
We love tears. But once the holiday season is over, what's the next big commitments for your music program?
Well, my next big one is Black History Month, and then after that, spring program.
Oh my gosh, yes, we have one too.
And
Yeah.
5th grade promotion.
Yeah, 5th grade promotion. We've got, we've Larchmont partners with Young Audiences of Virginia, so we've got a Week of the Arts planned in the end of January, so I've got that's large. And then Black History Month, my assistant principal wrote a wonderful play based on the story of Ruby Bridges, so chorus will be singing in that. It's gonna be fantastic. Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. And then we have International Night in April with a poetry slam. exhausting. Then spring program, then we've got All City, oh my gosh, and then Pan Fest. All City.
I have a diversity night too.
Yeah, you did see, it
So
never
you've got
stops.
a lot going on in both of your
Always.
schools. And you know what I'm
Always.
telling you, folks watching this show are going to be like, wow, the music program in Norfolk schools is great. Because if you two are doing great things, I know the rest of our schools are doing great things. So I want to thank you both for coming on the show today to talk about your music programs. And you made us excited about them too.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I am also a music teacher at St. Helena Elementary School, and we had our winter program last night, and it was, I mean, the kids were amazing, and I definitely don't want to leave out my secondary school. I mean, my part-time school, which is St. Helena Elementary School. Like, they were fantastic.
And you guys are fantastic. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. It was a successful fall season. Let's take a look at some highlights.
Maury shocked the cross-country community by winning the Class 5 regional title at Bell's Mill in Chesapeake.
Felt outstanding. I just extraordinarily proud of the competitive effort of our team, individually, collectively. I kind of stood back and watched them celebrate, and it was very fulfilling to see them embrace one another, hold the trophy. So just very proud to represent the Eastern District in Norfolk Public Schools, and I think that they've had a bit of a chip on their shoulder knowing that typically the perennial powers in our region in cross country come from Virginia Beach and Chesapeake Public Schools. So felt outstanding.
We have an amazing group of girls. We started in late May training. We trained the whole summer, 5 days a week. We've been training 5 days a week the whole school year. They have worked so incredibly hard and have been so determined from day one to do this season right, and they did. And at regionals, they have shown so much support for each other. We knew we could do it. As soon as we saw it, we knew we could band together through support and motivation and our coaches' support. We knew it, and we came together, and we just went into that race feeling good and feeling confident, and we ran it.
Maeve Styles showed that she's the fastest one of them all as she took home the individual title with a time of 19 minutes, 10 seconds.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it feels pretty awesome, but I'm just so happy and proud of so far, how far we've come as a team. I just feel like we've done such great work. Mr. Bennett has been there to help us along the way, and we didn't see this coming, so that makes it even more amazing and incredible that we were able to do that.
Styles, who had some challenges coming into this meet, was determined not to let anything hold her back.
I did get diagnosed with strep throat on Monday, and unfortunately I missed Monday and Tuesday of school. So going into Wednesday, I hadn't practiced since Sunday, which luckily I did a long run. So my throat was hurting, and I felt pretty bad too, but I wanted to push through it because it was for the team, it was for Mr. Bennett, and working towards all that we've done year round. This was it, this was the meet. And I just felt like I had to bring it all together and run, no matter how I felt, because it wasn't about me, it was about the team.
In the state meet, Maury finished 7th as a team, and Maeve Styles finished 9th individually. Granby celebrated 2 of its student athletes as a signing ceremony took place for Rebecca D'Annunzio and Cameron Anderson. D'Annunzio, who was featured on an earlier episode of NPS Now, will take her golfing talent to Virginia Tech.
Today was definitely a very special experience being able to sign today in front of my peers and my family. My coach was here, and I just want to thank everybody for coming out today because they've all helped me get to where I am. I've definitely grown throughout high school, and again, I just can't thank enough my teachers, my counselors, my coach, and especially my parents for supporting me throughout my journey to get here.
Anderson, who's a force as a pitcher and a hitter, will play softball for Radford University.
It's definitely amazing. I mean, I've known most of these people my entire life, and so it was kind of one of those like aha moments, like I made it, and it was really cool. No better feeling ever. Well, I first fell in love with the school when I took a visit just on a willy-nilly, and I went there and I fell in love with the coaching staff and I fell in love with the other players, and then everything just came to. And when they offered me, it was probably one of the craziest things that I actually am going to my dream school. So.
How did Granby prepare you for this moment?
Definitely gave me the resources. I mean, especially academically in the IB programming, it challenged me to take college courses and be able to express myself in a way that I can show in the classroom and on the field. So definitely great, I would say.
You know, we were very excited about doing this signing day event for Becca and for Cameron to bring exposure to our student athletes who are going to the next level, who are achieving in the classroom and going to excel as well at the collegiate level. And we wanted to also honor them because sometimes our golfers and our softball teammates don't always get the same exposure as maybe a basketball or football player. So we definitely wanted to celebrate their accomplishments this year. And it was totally big for the school community. Students came out, parents and families, counselors from different departments came out and made it a true successful event.
Southampton Road's 4 leading rushers reside right here in NPS. Katron Allen, freshman from Norview, led the area in rushing with 1,421 yards. He was followed closely by Lake Taylor sophomore Malik Newton, who tallied 1,402 yards. Maury Jr. C.J. Beasley capped off an impressive year with 1,387 rushing yards, and Booker T. Washington's two-way sophomore Rodney Hammond was fourth with 1,363 yards. Maury defensive back Sheridan Jones has been selected to play in the Under Armour All-American game in Orlando. In front of teammates, family, and friends, Jones received his All-American jersey.
Feels pretty good. I've been working for a very long time, putting in hard work day in, day out, and it feels good. I'm just ready to compete now.
A 4-star recruit with a 3.8 GPA, Jones, who has verbally committed to Clemson, credits a strong upbringing for his success.
Just hard work, dedication, and being a leader on and off the field. I think those qualities from my mom raising me, she helped groom me like that, making me the man I am today.
It's special for him. Kid worked hard for it. He's done everything that's been asked of his family, the coaches, and even himself, needs and wishes and stuff like that. So credit to him. He's worked hard for it. He's done everything that he wanted to do for it. So credit to him.
Jones finished up his senior season at Maury with 45 tackles, 2 interceptions, with 1 returned for a touchdown. He was named Region 5 Co-Defensive Player of the Year. Maury's volleyball team returned to the state tournament after a 1-year absence, making it to the semifinals. The Commodores finished the year with an impressive record of 21-4, and Sam Jones making it to the All-State team. Middle school students enjoyed themselves at a basketball game as Norfolk State University hosted their 2nd annual Education Day.
Well, I tell you, this is a great partnership. It gives both entities an opportunity to get involved in bringing the young people out to our basketball arena and our facility. What we are trying to do is create a closer relationship with the city of Norfolk, the public school system, to get our students more engaged with our activities here on campus. I think we have a larger group here this year than we did last year. In fact, we were discussing it early today. So it seems like this activity is growing and getting bigger, and I'm hoping the word get out that all your schools will want to come up to this event.
In addition to the game, students were able to enjoy other activities on and off the court.
I think it helps them to get some of that energy out, but I think they enjoy being here and just seeing a sports activity that maybe they want to play one day.
As this event continues to grow, so does the impact it could have on more students.
I think it has a big impact. They get to see that it's something after middle school and something after high school. They get to see the facility and the different area that they can be in. So I think it's a big impact on them, and hopefully that they would take this in and realize that they have to continue to do well in school even to get to this position. So I think it's a big impact for them.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I have two very special guests with me here today. I have Jessie Zamora, Senior Director of Information Technology, and Troy Perkins, our Cybersecurity Engineer. Welcome to you both to NPS Now.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. And hey, you got something exciting coming out for our students and possibly staff called Zoom. I remember Zoom used to be a show, but evidently it's new technology that's out. So Jessie, tell us about Zoom.
Okay, so Zoom is an advanced, innovative, and interactive video conferencing solution. And what we're trying to do in Norfolk Public Schools is, in our IT department, is to try to remedy the communication needs of the district.
Wow, so how can Zoom be beneficial for our students?
Well, if you visualize where technology is taking us today, what you're going to find out is it's so important that we have to try to find a way to bridge the gap. Example would be for students, morning announcements out at the schools. Nowadays, we have online capabilities where students can actually use the internet that they're used to. One of the examples is most of the students probably have a cell phone, and they conference their friends, they pick up their phones and they say, hey, what's up, or their families. So why can't we use that type of technology into the classroom? Well, Zoom is beneficial to students because it is a kind of platform or a tool that they can use for not only morning announcements, but possibly distance learning, if you will. Unlike FaceTime or any type of Skype software, Zoom has the capability of reaching 1 to 100 people. In January, they're going to release a firmware update or a software update where you can do 1 to 300 people. So teachers are going to be able to teach their students using an online tool such as Zoom.
That's exciting. So which schools are using it and how's it going so far?
At this time, we have piloted at Larchmont Elementary and Ocean View Elementary. I went out there about 3 weeks ago to kind of test out, to kind of just look at what students, how are they using it and how successful it is. My mind was blown away.
Really?
Yes, the media specialist was directing while the students are actually the ones doing the work. They were behind an iPad and they're pressing record. They're actually able to see what the students are saying when they're presenting their morning announcements. Students are able to use an iPad or a laptop to kind of look at their cues and basically say what needs to be said.
I want to see this. So let's take a look real quick of how students at Larchmont are using this technology for their morning announcements real quick.
Great.
We're on the air, and that's first thing. The second week of school, we were on air, so that was great. We're on the air, the kids are seeing us, we're highlighting, movement, getting our brains with the Jammin' Minute. We have watchdog dads that come almost daily. We highlight them and their families. So we're just getting out and everybody's seeing what's going on in the school. So it's good.
I think it is very good for our new school because it connects to almost all of the classrooms, and it has it's just really good for our school, and I think it's easier for WLES News. It's fun for everyone to see the news and to be on the news, and I think it's fun to be on the Zoom app too.
Well, it's really fun because it's a live conferencing app, so it's being broadcasted to the whole school, so everyone's seeing what the camera's seeing at the same time. I think it's really cool, and it's fun. It's definitely fun.
Okay, that was awesome. I mean, I know you were blown away. I am too. They're going to take my job next. But that's great, the training that received. So this is great for students, but how is this going to work for teachers and staff members, this Zoom concept?
Okay, we'll start for the teachers because everything that we do in IT is to support the teaching and student learning. So for teachers, it can help them in different ways. Let's start with distance learning. I remember back in the day when I was going to school, and I was always afraid to raise my hand if I have a difficult question. Sometimes students don't want to be embarrassed and try to, and ask a difficult question when the teacher actually said something earlier in the class. So Zoom gives the teachers the ability to record the session. So, and that also they can actually set up a polling question where if they say how many students agree with this particular discussion, and the students can say vote yes or no, or they can raise their hand if they have a question with the teacher. So all this is recorded. So what that does for teaching and student learning is students can go back into the class discussion or the class session to kind of recall a certain understanding.
So what do you hope that will happen in the long term with our district with this new software, Zoom?
I'm hoping a lot of things with Zoom, because that was just more for the teacher perspective. Zoom is a technology that can actually unify communication needs across the district. One is distance learning, 2, morning announcements, 3, parent-teacher conferences, professional development for teachers, staff, and administrators. And one of the things that we haven't discussed is effective decision-making for our emergency response team. Emergency operation team, I'm sorry. So what you don't see in Zoom is that we can actually do a video conference and actually have someone go out and assess the weather via mobile. So as if when we're all in a conference, someone can say, look, here's the snow, the school's not ready, or the school is ready. So it will improve our EO team in making effective decisions.
That's great. I'm glad you found this new software and brought it to not only our students, but for our teachers and administration, and how we can use that too. And I think we're going to shift gears now to talk about fishing. I was fished earlier this year, and I was like, what in the world? So I want to talk to you, Troy. What exactly is phishing with a PH?
Basically, phishing is fraudulent or malicious emails. They're designed to look like it came from a reputable source, but their intent is to steal email, or they're phishing steal information, or they're phishing for information.
So what exactly, or approximately, what do you think we have been attacked? How many emails or employees you think have been phished in our district this year? On an average week, we'll get about 182 phishing emails, and it's only going to increase.
Wow. So that's why we're here to bring awareness to it.
So what type of information, are the attackers searching for? What are they trying to get?
Some of the information they're searching for financial information, such as a social security, such as a credit card number, maybe account information, personal information, such as a social security number, maybe address, phone numbers. They may be looking for also username and passwords.
What are some things that maybe we should be careful about in our emails, or not to have in our emails?
As far as when we're getting phishing emails, some things to look for is links. Look for links. Sometimes you may get a link and that's a malicious link. What you can do, you can arrow over the link and it may tell you exactly where it's coming from. Also, domains. If you're looking for an email from a Norfolk Public School staff member, the domain should say nps.k12.va.us as opposed to such and such.gmail. Other things to look for is maybe grammatical errors and stylistic errors. A lot of the attackers are not U.S. citizens, so they may have have difficulties with the English language, so they'll portray that into the email as well. So you'll see grammatical errors as well. Other things to look for is the tone of the email. Most phishing emails have aggressive tones, so they'll tell you this is urgent, and to do this now, and they're trying to get you to click this link now, or respond with your user information now, or your account information now, before this happens.
Yeah, and they try to get email listings too. And mine, the one that I received, was very aggressive.
Yes.
Jesse saw it was almost like blackmail. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Very aggressive.
Another thing you may see is because phishing emails are sent out widely to a big group, they use greetings, very impersonal greetings. So they'll say user, or customer, or staff, or patient, and then ask for personal information. So what to look for. You know not to give personal information to someone who can't even address you by your name as if they know who you are.
So if someone suspects they've received a phishing attack in their email, what should they do?
What we like to teach here is to block it or report it as phishing. If you look in your Outlook client, you'll see an option under the Home tab to click junk and report as phishing. If you don't have that link, then definitely call Help Desk and we can get that set up for you. But just reporting it to make IT aware is some of the good things to do.
And these are tips that you share for us as employees, but even parents at home.
Yes.
With their own personal email. These are good tips for them to share and to go pay attention in their emails as well.
Right.
Yeah, well, we want to thank you both for coming on the show to talk about Zoom and phishing information. And thank you again for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.